first 15. I'm going to talk for about the first 15-20 minutes, and then Kim is going to finish the call off with some goal setting for the rest of the month. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is so much about belief. I had a call with Genevieve yesterday, and it was a real kick in the butt for all of us to hear. And I think all of it was so valuable. And I wanted to share it with you guys as well, because it really helped us think outside the box and think, what are we doing now? What do we need to do differently to move forward in the way that we want to? Really what this call is about is what sets us apart from where we are today and where we want to be. So 3 main areas I want you guys to think about. I'm going to read from notes just so I can stay on task, because this topic could really be talked about for hours, but I'm going to put it together in 15 to 20 for you. So really what we want to focus on is the fact that, one, we're thinking too small. So a lot of people think month to month, like, oh, I just want to make sure that I re-rank where I was. Or if you ended at 105 points, a lot of times people think at the beginning of the month, I just want to make sure I maintain that gold. And we just think in such a small piece of where our business is, and we're not thinking larger, we're not thinking big enough. One thing Genevieve said was that when she goes on the Emerald Extravaganza Diamond Destination trip, she likes to stay with the diamonds because diamonds think bigger. Diamonds never think, oh, I just want to make sure I maintain what I have. They're always thinking, where do I want to be a year from now? What do I need to do to get there? They're always thinking bigger picture. And that's what successful people do, whether you're a CEO of a business, you're a business owner, you're a leader in some way, shape, or form. Leaders have big vision. They never think small, and they never box themselves into this small space. They're always looking at things in such a large piece of the puzzle. And where do I want to be exponentially, largely a year from now? And that's where we need to get. So I remember back when I started Plexus, Kim and I talked almost daily. We were doing this together. We were running together. We were really working hard to achieve something. And I remember it was within the first month that I started. And we jokingly said one day, like, oh, because there was this graphic that had come out for get to Emerald in a year. And I was like, oh, we're going to do that. We're going to do Emerald in a year. And that is a large task that's a big thing to do, right? It's not it's not unmanageable. It's definitely something that can be done. There's people that go Emerald in 3 months when they start this business. But I remember thinking, we're going to do that. So we looked at our year and we broke it down. What do we need to do each month for that to happen? Did it happen? Did we go Emerald in a year? No, but we went Emerald in 2 years, which is also a huge success, right? But what we did at that time was we had huge vision. Like going Emerald in a year is a big deal, right? We had that huge vision and we weren't attached to the outcome emotionally when it didn't happen in a year. It's not like that year came and we were like, well, we suck, How did we not do that? Oh, I'm a failure. I'm terrible at this. No one's ever going to want to do this with me. We didn't have any of those thoughts. We just thought, okay, well, it didn't happen in a year. We're going to do it in the next year. And we just kept plugging away and we just kept doing the things. And sure enough, 2 years later, we were Emerald, or 2 years into it, we were Emerald. And so I want you guys to think about that, because some of you guys have been in this for a long time. Some of you shorter than others. Doesn't matter how long you've been in Plexus. What matters now is moving forward. And I want you guys to look big. Think about next year, Emerald Extravaganza. You can all be there. You can every single person on this call can be there. It doesn't matter if you're senior silver or you're senior ruby. You can get there because you just have to put the action steps in place. One thing she reminded us of is that our thoughts have more power over us than we realize. And when we think small, we'll stay small. When we think we can't do something, we absolutely won't do it. And I know you hear that all the time. That's like one of the biggest mindset pieces of information that we hear is our thoughts matter, our thoughts count. But I really want you to think about that, because when you do think to yourself, I just want to maintain what I have and I don't want to lose rank, you are limiting yourself because you're thinking small. You have to think, I'm going to be at the next rank by this date. And Kim did put that podcast in with Kristen Boss yesterday. Listen to it. It was phenomenal. And she kind of touches on that too, that we have to just put that goal in place and then just put the action steps in place to meet that goal. It's when we start second guessing ourselves and questioning, are we going to be able to get there? Is someone really going to join us? Oh, it's already, 3/4 of the way into the month and I haven't even gotten halfway to that goal. And then we start changing that goal and adding that drama to it. But if we set the goal, put the action steps in place and just wake up every day and do those, it is just statistically correct. Like you will get there. That's just how it works. It's how goal setting works. That's how actions towards goals work. It's when we put those thoughts in place that prevent us from that prevent us from it. You have to think big. Successful people, millionaires, CEOs, presidents, business owners, all of that. They always have huge vision. Taro and Alec, when they started, Plexus, 10 plus years ago, 12 years ago, they had a vision for where we are today. They had that vision back then. If they wouldn't have had the vision for where we are today, we wouldn't be where we are because they would have set the ceiling for that and limited Plexus. But they always think bigger. They always have a bigger goal in mind for us. So think about that. Do you want Emerald Extravaganza? Do you want the Plexus Lexus? Do you want to pay off debt? Do you want more money at the end of your month? I would say most of you in this group would say yes to all of those questions. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a sprint group, right? If you just wanted to casually work this business and maybe earn an extra $500 a month, you wouldn't be in a sprint group. I think that every single one of you deep down inside has that vision for yourself. You just have to put it out there in words and put the actions in place to make that happen because you are all 100% in control of this. I remember when I first started, I absolutely knew after a couple of months into it. My belief was starting to be built right away, but within a couple of months in Plexus, I absolutely knew that I was going to be a jewel and be at the top of this company because I knew that I was the only one that could limit myself. This opportunity is so available to everyone. There's no other career or job out there that allows you to have, there is no ceiling to your income. You know what I mean? We've got like the top of the top people in this company making $400,000 a month, right? There is just no limit to your income in this job. Whereas a typical, job outside of network marketing, there is a limit. There's a cap of what you can make, but in here, there is none. So when I realized that after a couple of months in, I'm like, if this opportunity is available to anyone, it's available to me and I'm going to go after it. I'm going to do it. And I put those steps in every single day. Commitment is the second piece. How committed are you to your success? And like I said, everyone in this group, I think you're all committed. You all want to be committed because you committed to an intense IPA style group. This is not easy work. And so many of you have had situations this last month where you were just like, wow, this is super uncomfortable for me, super uncomfortable. Like I'm freaking out sending this message, but you've done it. And exposing yourself to that each time is what is going to build that belief. And you've got to be the one in control of building your belief and allowing it to happen. So how committed are you? One thing that she reminded us yesterday of is successful people ignore the negative thoughts and ignore the thoughts that they can't do something. They ignore that scary feeling that they experience. They experience it. Everyone experiences it, no matter how successful you are. And I would say the more successful you are, the more those thoughts start coming in because our brain is designed to protect us. The enemy is there to attack us. And the more successful you are, the more those thoughts will actually creep in. But what they've done is they've decided to ignore it. And they're ignoring it, but they're still putting the actions in place no matter what. So when you wake up every day, the action steps you need to do to be successful, implementing those, no matter how successful those may not have been last week or yesterday or last month, knowing that and trusting yourself and trusting the process, that by doing this every single day, I know that I'll eventually be successful. I'm going to ignore what didn't happen yesterday, what person said no to me, what person ignored me, what rank I didn't get to last month. I'm going to completely ignore those thoughts, and I'm going to move forward today and do the steps. So what that commitment level is. Brandy Beaner is in the middle of a hurricane right now, and she's still on this call, and she is still doing her IPA at an intense level. I mean, she's literally in a hurricane. So it that is amazing. I'm very proud of you. And I know about that because this weekend we have a wedding down in Fort Myers that I'm really thinking is not going to happen. The flights have already been canceled, and the resort that the wedding at is already canceled till Saturday. So I've been keeping track of that hurricane like crazy. But anyway, not to get sidetracked. So ignoring that feeling and put it off to the side and just get your IPA sheet out and just do it anyway. That's all. That is like the only thing that you have. Like, if you think of a regular job, you've got all these performance measures that you have to meet in order to get a good performance review at the end of the year. Some jobs have very hard performance measures that need to be completed, but you know that you need to do it because you've got to have that positive performance review in order to get a raise or in order to not get fired, right? Think about with Plexus, the only performance measure you need to do is that one sheet of paper that can really take 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day. And that is it. And if you do that if you do those performance measures every single day, no matter what, your performance review is going to be at Emerald Extravaganza a year from now, right? I mean, that is like the ultimate reward. So think about that in terms of just get it done. Ignore the thoughts. The last thing I want to talk about is your belief has to be unshakable. You are the only one in control of the belief within your mind. You are the only one that can control and can allow what you allow or what you decide to believe in and what you decide not to believe in. And if you have unshakable belief and know that you will eventually be a diamond, be a sapphire, be a jewel, whatever that is, you are going to get there because you're the only one that can stop yourself. And for example, Kim and I were talking about this aspect a little bit earlier today. There are certain things in our world that happen that we believe in or we don't believe in, right? And we'll use the example of the most controversial situation that's happened in the last couple of years, and that is whether or not you believe in the vaccine or you believe in masks, right? You either are going to believe it or you're not going to believe it. And if you don't believe in the vaccine or wearing masks, how many people, and you don't have to raise your hand, but how many people had one way or the other, one belief way or the other, and no matter what the consequence was, you were not going to change, right? So if you were someone that didn't believe in the vaccination and you firmly believe that that was not something that you were going to take into your body or give to your children, many people lost their jobs over it, right? Many people didn't travel because they needed a vaccine to show the ability to travel, or had to wear a mask on a plane, or had to wear a mask in a store. How many of you who don't believe in the vaccine or mask didn't go shopping at some stores because you truly do not believe in that, right? Or vice versa. If you did believe in the vaccine or believed in a mask, how many times did you speak up for your belief and say, wear the mask or get your vaccine, whatever it is? That's the most controversial thing that I could think of lately that required us to really have unshakable belief. Where did you fall in that? Did you stick to your beliefs, and no matter what, how much criticism you received or how much judgment you received, you stuck within those beliefs? Because I know a lot of people on this call right now have very strong opinions one way or another on that, and you suffer consequences for it. Think about that with Plexus. Think about your unshakable belief with what this opportunity has think about that when it comes time to put your next post up or reach out to your next business partner, reaching out specifically about the business. Think about where you're at with the belief of what you're doing, because if it's unshakable, you're going to have no shame. You're going to have no embarrassment, or shame over putting that post up or reaching out to that person. So find out where you are in the line. Do you have unshakable belief? Do you not? Let's figure out how to get you that unshakable belief, because every single person can have it. It's all within your thoughts, and all what you decide to do. So that was a super fast synopsis of those 3 areas. I would love to dive deeper within those with you guys. If you're ever interested, we can do a call specifically on each of those areas: belief, doing the things, action steps, and then commitment. But think about each of those areas. What are you going to do differently for the next 2 days to get you where you want to be? Kim is going to go over goals of what you started the month off and where you're going to be 2 days from now. Any questions on that? Any comments you want to bring up? Any thoughts on what I just talked about? All right, cool. All right, Kim, take it away.
I have a comment. I really appreciate it, and I think it is very powerful to think about how much power we have just by making a choice, and the conviction. When the conviction is there, nothing can stop us. It's beautiful.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And with what, to piggyback off what Brandy was saying, Brandy Squared was saying, both of them actually, is that, you guys, seriously, if Brandy Beaner can be on this call in the middle of our and lives in Florida, it makes me, now I am an empath, right? So I never want to minimize people's individual circumstances. I know Nicole on our team lost her mother, and she is very unexpectedly, she's in a big, there are that are like, definitely we're like grace and all of that. But what we do in our mind, you guys, is we let the general rule of thumb, like I think we have lived in a space as kids where we were like, shame, 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 naughty, naughty, naughty. And so now we want to like live in this space where we want to not feel shame, and we want to just feel loved and accepted and whatever. And so the alternative of that is that we've become resistant and almost a little defiant when it comes to boundaries, guidelines, and rules. So we can take advantage of like, oh, I don't really need to work my business. Like, forget that. I don't need to do, and we like get defiant against ourselves almost as a means to reconcile and not feel shame. And really that's a way of sabotaging your business, sabotaging yourself, because there is a space where if you're honest with yourself, you can still respect your business. You can have boundaries around it. You can have boundaries with the rules. You can abide by the guidelines and be in that space and know that it's not like hard line, but there's boundaries and there's guidelines within it. And it's just aware that there is, if you want to have a successful business. Now, if you don't want to have a successful business, that's a completely different story, or if you're content or fine or whatever. But all of you that are here are doing those things and following the guidelines that we have put in place for you to be successful for this group. And so if Brandy is here in the middle of a hurricane, obviously if somebody's going through child labor or delivering a baby, you wouldn't be here. And there are some unique circumstances, but like, it always kind of makes me smile a little bit. Like, even when I had COVID, you guys, I'm not saying you should be like, work the finger to the bone if you have COVID or something, but seriously, I'm on my phone. Like, I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to shower. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go to an office. I'm on my phone. Like, being honest with myself, if I'm saying I can't show up for my business that's on my phone that involves moving my thumbs, then am I not scrolling Facebook at all? Am I too tired to watch TV? Am I not like looking at people's stories? Because if I'm that sick that I can't send a message with the thumbs on my phone from my bed, then I probably am too sick to scroll Facebook. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, if we're being on, and I'm not saying that to shame you guys at all. Like, I'm just the echo in the voice in the mirror that how honest are we being with ourselves? And how committed are we to our goals and our visions? So let's step into our goals and our visions a little bit. I want you to think for a hot second about what your goals were at the very beginning of the month. Many of you have done a fantastic job. I'm super proud of every single one of you for showing up and being there. You're all doing great. But what I want you to do for a minute is recall what those goals were. We are going to take 2 minutes for you to hop in your back offices. If you don't know where you are, I want you to go into your back office right now. And I want you to check on points and rank and click and see where you are. And you can do that while I'm talking, okay? Because sometimes we can avoid going in our back offices. We can avoid looking at our points and rank. And do Brandy, I want you to be like super zero in on the end result, end game, and not the process. No, but there is a time and a place when you need to be aware and look at the end and where you're at, because that's the only way you can assess your goals. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be emotionally attached. Like Brandy said, we don't need to get all like, I don't want you to see your points and be like, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser. Like none of that. We're not doing any of that. And on any side of it, it's just what it is. Like it's 53 degrees out right now. I could like have my undies in a bundle about it, but it's not going to change what the temperature is, right? So find out what your points are. And then, by the way, it's very hard for me to be cognitive like this and not move into an emotional space. So if I could do it, you guys can too, I promise. But you're going to look at your points cognitively. You're not going to attach emotion to it. You should all be there by now if you're not. Now I want you to look and see, and this does not attach any meaning to who you are, what you've done, what you haven't done, none of that, right? Just look at it. Just like I'm looking at the temperature right now, okay? Now, I want you to look at 2 pieces. I want you to think about kind of, if you've done vision casting with me or Brandy, where you wanted to be at the end of this month, okay? And I want you to write that down next to where you, if you have a piece of paper, write down what your points are now and write down where you wanted your points to fall, because it's not always a rank goal, right? Sometimes it's a point fall because ranks can cover a large area, right? So put down where you wanted your points to fall, where they are currently. And then the other piece that I want you to look at is where you are in regards to the watch. Did you want to get the watch? Did you not? And if you did, how close are you? And how much more do you need to get there? Same thing with the points. What is the gap between where you are today, where you need to be? And then divide that and see how many orders. Okay. If you want to take it a step further, I know some of you have people on your team. Okay. And so I want you to look at, okay, I have my friend Julie on my team. Julie's not on this call because she's not in the sprint group, but I know that she wanted to get that watch. She is this far away from it, blah, 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 and configure those pieces for points or rank or watch with those people. So I'll give you like 1 minute to wrap that up. And then I'm going to have you guys boldly share, because we don't exercise shame in our group. And we're just going to talk about it. And you're going to say, hey, here's where I am. Here's where I wanted to be. So for example, my name is Amanda. I am at 78 points right now. I wanted to end at 125. Let's do 75 because I'm bad at math. I'm at 75. I wanted to end at 125. And that is a 50 point difference. Okay. I know that I need to get 10 orders. Okay. I need to get 10 orders. Write that down. Right. And then watch. Yes, I wanted the watch. I have recruited 4 people. I can either have a silver, or since I already recruited 4, or I can get 2 more people and sponsor 2 more. Okay. So I want you to break it down, because without a plan, there is not a means. And I better not see any of you more people leaving because you don't want to share. I'm going to call you out on it and stalk you all day on Facebook Messenger. Anyway, so write that down so you can break down where it's coming from. I just gave you the big picture. I'll walk you through one person at a time though. Okay. Is anybody willing to go first, or do I have to call you on you? Okay, Andrea, go ahead.
So I'm at
Andrea's
99.
really good at this, by the way. She could probably break it down better than I can, for sure.
I didn't even write it down. So I'm at 99 right now. I was shooting for 121 at the beginning of the month. I'm helping one of my silvers go earn the watch. So she actually needs 4 more, which would put me at 119. But I was also helping another, well, first of all, I'm 2 away, 2 level 1s away from the watch too. So that would put me at 119 plus 12 would be what, 130, 120, 141. And then I have another level 2 actually she's 1 away from going silver as well. And she had just only because she was 2 away, but one of them, one of her people actually didn't like her credit card, there was an issue with that. And so she's following up with that. So that would actually put me at, so what, 10 plus 12 plus 20. So 147.
Okay. Okay, so Andrea did that really fast in her mind. She's an engineer, you guys. So if I don't do it that fast, but you do it like that basically, and then find out the gap. And so Andrea's like, okay, I'm at 99. I have a potential to get to 140. My non-negotiable for myself was 121. These are where it's coming from. And so I know that Andrea is probably the people that are close to the watch or whatever on her downline. She's probably on them, encouraging them and following up. She doesn't just encourage one time, she'll follow up after that, right? And then wrapping up and closing on the people that she's really close with already. Okay.
Wait,
Next.
I want to say something about that. Okay, so for some people that's uncomfortable to put the information out there because they do attach the emotion to that outcome. As we talked before, we're not going to do that. But what Andrea just did, is it Andrea or Andrea? I hear people saying different things.
It's Andrea.
Okay, Andrea. So what she just did there was it gave her brain something to work forward to. So putting the numbers out there and identifying I need 140 points, 121 minimum, 5 new ambassadors, couple new silvers, identifying those numbers and saying those numbers, your brain is now going to put the actions in place to make that happen. If you don't identify the numbers, you won't get there because your brain has nothing to work towards and it's not going to put the actions in place to get you there. It's all about what you verbalize, what you put out there, so that your brain can make put the actions in place to get you there. So that's why we're going through this exercise, because you have to identify it. You need to know what you got to work on in the next 2 days before the end of the month. Okay. All right. Who's next?
I can go. I was going to say that Kim's probably done this with me maybe 5 or 6 times over the last months. And it seems I'm not a numbers person. I don't like math. I hate math. But I understand the process. But finally this month I was just like, okay, my goal has been 100. I'm at 72. And if I can get 100 PV orders, whether that's a newbie or a white line being brought back, each order 6 points. So I need 3 orders to get to 100 from 72. So it's pretty simple. It's actually very, very simple. I didn't need to write it down either, but mine's not as complicated as Andrea's.
But you see what you did there, because you identified it and Kim made you talk about it, your brain found ways to make it happen. You just found ways to make yourself get to that number. So that's why it's so important to identify it, talk about it, and plan for it. Okay, good job.
Brandy Wiener, go ahead.
So I'm at 118. I wanted to get to 125. So I need at least 2 more people. Because I can't have 1 point something people. And I was going for the watch, and I'm 2 people away, 2 level 1s away from the watch. Or if I help one person develop into silver for the first time. So I'm going to continue to try both of those avenues. Maybe they'll both happen.
Awesome. Good. Who's next?
Brandy, is that the highest point you've been at before? I think it is.
I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
it is.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job. And
Good
you know,
job.
one reason you're there right now, Brandy, is because this sprint group has made you do the things that you've been avoiding and haven't been doing. But now
Exactly.
that you've put all of these actions in place, the amount of conversations you're in is ridiculous. Like you're in so many conversations. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you. It feels exciting.
Melissa, Heather, Cheryl, Melanie.
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
My goal was 50. I'm at 34. And so that means I need 3 more people, which coincides perfectly. I have 3 towards the watch and I need 3 more. So I know what I need to do.
Yay.
Good. And Melissa, I'm really proud of you for that. Melissa is extremely empathetic and sharing in general. When she started, that was really scary for her. And so now that she's actually volunteering herself out and like sharing her goals, that's a lot of progress. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good
Taking
job.
a while. So thank you.
And you've
Good.
also been in so many more conversations, meaningful, direct conversations about the business and products than you ever have been.
Yes.
Good job.
Who's next?
I can go.
Okay, go
And I
ahead.
have, let's see. Okay, so I'm at 236 right now. 250 would be awesome because that would re-rank senior gold. So I'm 14 points away. Do have the watch, which is exciting. I had enrolled 6 and then 1 person on my team enrolled 1. So 7 new ads this month, which is exciting. I think that when I hit the watch goal, you guys, though, I do feel like I was like, oh, look, I can breathe a little, but I shouldn't have done that. So just know that, like, I think I told myself don't do it, but I did it anyway. Like, I think that did happen, but I have continued to do my steps, but my brain was like, you're good now. And so I shouldn't have done that. So 14 more points. That's what, 3 people, 3, 6, 12. Oh no, 4 people, 4.
Okay.
Melanie, the person that added someone, was that a new ambassador?
Yeah, it's a new person, but I pretty much added them for them because they were somebody that wanted to be added, but they were good friends with this person.
Yep.
So I chose to do that.
And have you mentioned to that person, like, listen, you can make the $400 with 2? Okay. And
Yeah.
what are they responsive to that? What
No.
are their thoughts?
No,
Okay.
but I did see that this person is like, I did see them poking around in some of the other group sites. So I was like, okay, they are watching, they are absorbing, they are looking, they have not, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And she's amazing. So once she decides that this is something she wants to do, I think she would be incredible, but we're working on that.
Very good. Very good. That's a great example. I'm going to use your situation as an example. In that what she just did is she realized that she limited herself this month. And so that kind of goes to the thinking that I first talked about was we are so, and I'm guilty of this too. We so often think so small, like I just want to maintain this rank. I just want to get my 3. Because I'm in the diamond sprint group. I have to have minimum of 3 every month too. I just need to get my 3. It's like, stop thinking so small, Brandy. Like, yeah, you're going to get 3. That's just an automatic. Let's shoot for 6 every month. Let's shoot higher. Let's always be looking for bigger and just better, crazy. You know what I mean? So good example on that. Awesome job on your watch, Melanie. That's fantastic. Did you get it already or no?
No, they're supposed to email you with steps to get it, and I have not gotten the email yet.
Good job. Proud of you.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you.
Good job. And guys, make sure the second you earn that watch that you let us know and we can cheer you on in the group in case we don't catch it. Because on the end of the month, Brandy and I are like going, how's Melissa doing? How's Heather doing? Like we're going back and forth, and then we're in your 3-ways and we don't always catch it all. So make sure you tell us right away when you do get it. Okay, Cheryl and Heather.
Okay, so this month has been a little weird. I am at 41 points currently, and I want to re-rank to senior silver, which means I'm 9 points away, which means roughly it's about 2.5 people. And I do have a handful of people kind of in my funnel. So I would really like to sponsor 3 this month, just as that's kind of been my mantra every month is at least 3. And I do have, I want to say 6 people that potentially could jump the fence with me. So that's where I'm at this month.
Beautiful. And I love that. You guys, we've been doing this 30 of the 90 days. I can't wait to see like all of this compounding as it just keeps going. It's going to be awesome. Okay, Heather, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm still confused on the point stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like right now, I'm looking at it and it shows I'm at 44 and I have 56 to go to reach gold. So
you're at 44 points right now. Yes.
mhm.
Do you know? Did you make a goal at the beginning of the month?
Well, I know like my goal at the beginning of the month was to get 9 people.
Okay. How are you doing with that?
Not well. I mean, not as well as I would like, honestly. I mean, I've got people that I'm in constant communication. It's been like a dance between them. You know, let me get back to you. Oh, I saw it. I got to think it through. Like, I mean, you know, and I'm following through like what's holding you back, those kind of conversations.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I had another conversation with my dad's wife, whatever. She approached me. So I actually sent her some videos regarding, you know, the triplex that she was interested in. Asked her if she had watched them yet. And she said, I haven't had a chance. So there's just been kind of a lot of back and forth conversations, but nothing solidified as of yet.
Okay. How are the 3-way conversations going?
I've not been able to get anybody to get on a conversation 3-way with me. My sister is dealing with stuff. So I've just been kind of just winging it on my own right now.
Okay. So and I know you're here for the growth piece, implementing 3-way conversations is absolutely key. And it's only weird if we make it weird. So it's just a really good way to be like, hey, I know that I'm so excited that you want to hear a little bit more about the reset or whatever it is, right? I'm actually going to put you in a 3-way with Brandy. The 2 of us work awesome together. I love encouraging you and cheering you on as your friend. And she is so good at information and giving you all the nuggets that you need to be successful. So I'm going to throw you in a 3-way conversation with her so we can cheer you on together. Hold on 1 second. And then you just start it, normalize it. Don't like make it weird and ask permission. And you know, because it's only weird if we make it not normal. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I don't honestly don't have a problem with the 3-way. It's just sometimes when I'm having a conversation with that person, it may not necessarily be convenient for whoever I'm trying to get on with me for the 3-way to get on at that point. So I think that's where it's struggling.
And I mean 3-way, I mean messaging and messenger.
Right. Oh, okay.
You know, it's just like a text group and messenger kind of a thing.
Sure.
Yep. All awesome group things. One thing I want to remind you of, okay? Tonight I have an event. It's only 7 posts, I think. And so it'll be super fast. It'll be like 20 minutes. It is all on reset. Okay. And there'll be other pieces that go with it. But if you have your potentials and they are really close, get your messaging in, add them to the event, ask them, remind them, follow up, like, hey, this is happening. I put verbiage in our 90-day group. Follow up with them and get them in there tonight. And being active, and then like when the event is happening, just boosting the algorithm by posting and tagging and just making sure and cheering people on and encouraging and fostering that vision and is going to be huge for that and for that event. Use that as a catalyst to support and build belief and educate your people that are really close right now. And I want you to focus on that today. And tomorrow is going to be an opportunity event of Jessica Heffley. Brandy did post a thing about it briefly yesterday. But I didn't want you to trigger overwhelm with 2 events at the same time. And so I'm having you focus on the one that's tonight right now. And then right after the one that's tonight, we'll provide a little bit more information on the Jessica Heffley one. Both are very simple, just an ask, an encouragement, and show them why it would be beneficial for them, and then following up. Remember, it's very simple and it's only as complicated as we make it to be in our minds, right? You guys got this. You guys are all awesome. You're amazing leaders, and we're super proud of you.
So one more thing real quick is for tonight, that event that Kim is putting on the wellness page, message everyone when you get off this call or shortly after when you have a moment, message them directly and say, we have a wellness event happening tonight on Facebook. I know that you've thought about Plexus and you've considered it. Please join this wellness event so you can learn a little bit more and we can talk about how Plexus can change your life. Send that message out to them today about tonight. Don't ask them if they want to be invited. Well, you're going to ask them eventually, but don't ever start something off by saying, hey, do you want to participate in a wellness event? Tell them how it's going to impact them, tell us how it's going to change their life, and then say, ask them if they want to be invited. You don't ever want to throw people in a thread or anything that doesn't want to be a part of it. But this is our customer page, and for just VIP customers who are not really sharing very much yet. So every potential you have should be put into this group right away. When I have a potential, I throw them in this group and then I tag them in things that would help them, that would help them see how Plexus could change their life. So get them in this group, let them know this is happening. Tomorrow night's event, Jessica Heffley and the lineup that she has sharing the opportunity is going to be awesome. So anyone that's considering the business or that you believe that could really do well with this when they share, invite them to it. Not even people that you've talked about the business to or have said, yeah, I want to work a business, right? Which doesn't ever happen, very rarely. Those scary people, watch the video I put in the thread by Jessica. She went after scary people. Ryan Ritz, Guilford, Sunny Keck, Carissa Casey, all these top-notch diamonds on her team. She specifically approached them about the business, scared to death. She was shaking and sweating when she was talking to them, but she specifically approached them about the business opportunity, and they're all now diamonds underneath her. So she can't stress enough how important it is to really share with people this opportunity. And if you get them on this call tomorrow night, just say, hey, I have an opportunity I want you to take a look at. It has been wildly successful for myself and people that I know. I would love for you to be open about this and just hear how this may impact you. I'm going to invite you to this group. Are you okay with that? And get them on that call tomorrow night, because it's going to be a game changer for their belief in this business. All righty. I think I've talked enough. Congratulations, everyone. You're doing well. We have 2 more days to really knock out those goals, and I know you can do it. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Any other questions, comments? Very cool. Have a good day.
You too.